Good morning, everyone. Today we are going to continue with chapter number 10, that is Introduction to Django from the subject Web Frameworks. In last sessions, we have seen about what is Django, then Django, how to install Django, then Django with MVT. In this session, we are going to continue with Django MVT and Django and Python. In last session, we have discussed about Django MVT. From that, we have seen the graph for the Django MVT, then control flow. Then we have seen about Django model and the Django model fields and field options with example. Now we are going to see Django views. Here, a view is a place where we put our business logic of the application. In the Django views, that business logic of that application is present. Yeah, the view is a Python function which is used to perform some business logic and return a response to the user. Through that, for processing the request from the user, yeah, the view is important here because it consists of the business logic. By using that, it returns a response to the user based on that request. So yeah, this response can be either HTML contents of a web page or a redirect or any 404 error. So here all the view functions are created inside the views.py file of the Django app. So here you can see one example for creating a view for that showing that current time here. For that here views.py. Yeah, that all the view functions are created inside the views.py file of the Django application. Here first we have to import the date time. That means here first, we have to import date and time library that provides a method for getting the current time here. After that, after importing date and time, we have to create the views here, like from Django.http import http response. From that, after importing that http response, we can handle that http request and response. And now here we are going to define one index here, define index to handle that http request here. Here now we are going to show that current time by like now is equals to datetime.datetime.now. So we have to show this time on the HTML web page. Like so for that we have to write HTML is equals to, we have to write that HTML code in the double quote here, like HTML tag, body tag, then we have to show that time. Now time is percent %s. After that closing that all these tags, and at last we have to write percent now. So after that we have to return that response to that request, HTTP request. We have to return that response like return HTTP response for that HTML. HTML consists of this HTML code. That means we have to show the time on the web page here. So after running this, yeah, after running this, it will show the time. Like now time is with the date and time, date and the time. So this is the view, Django view. Then next one is Django templates. So Django provides a convenient way to generate dynamic HTML pages by using its template system. So one template system is there for the Django that provides a way to generate dynamic HTML pages. So a template consists of static parts of the desired HTML output as well as some special syntax describing how dynamic content will be inserted. So why Django template is there? So in HTML file, we can't create or we can't write Python code because the code is only interpreted by that Python interpreted, not the browser. And that HTML file is that we run that HTML code or that file on the browser. And here that we cannot write that Python code in that HTML file because that code is only interpreted by that Python interpreter. So we know that HTML is a static markup language while Python is dynamic programming language. So that Django template engine is used to separate the design from that Python code and allows us to build dynamic pages. So that by using that Django template engine, we can separate that design from that Python code and we can build the dynamic web pages. Here you can see the Django template configuration. So to configure the template system, we have to provide some entries in that settings.py file. Here see that settings.py file consists of the template configuration here, templates. So in this, we have to mention that template directory name here. Template directory name, that is templates. Here you can see template directory name, templates. We have to mention that directory name. So by default, that Django templates looks for a template subdirectories. So in each install apps, so we have seen that while registering that model install apps in the, here we can see that install apps in the for where at the file, yeah, settings.py at the install apps. In that settings.py, we have to configure the template here. See the settings.py. In the template section, we have to mention that subdirectory name like templates. Okay, this is the configuration for Django templates. Then the last topic from the chapter number 10, that is Python, sorry, Django with Python. So what is core Python and Django Python here? So that core Python is basically, it is an interpreted, interactive, object-oriented and high-level programming language, which runs on the compiler level. Python is run on compiler level, so it has its own syntaxes, data types, and its own rules of object-oriented programming. So core Python is used for building desktop-based applications, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and the Django Python. It is basically a MVC framework. Previously, it is MVC framework and the MVT. Here, that MVC is model view and controller, and now that MVT is model view templates. So here, it is built on the top of Python. Django is mostly used in web-based applications and servers. So in this MVC for that Django, in models, it includes management of databases and views it how that application would like, and in the controller, the business or the application logic behind the application is implemented. And in MVT, that is model view and template, that model means management of database view consists of that business logic, and templates interact with the present that user interface. That means that model is at access layer, views consisting that business logic, that is business layer, and that template consisting of that presentation layer. It will interact with the user. That response sent back to the user as a template. So Django also uses concept of object oriented programming, or the core concept of Python. So it offers a lot of flexibility and robustness in building that applications. Some popular applications of that Django like YouTube, Dropbox, Bitbucket, and Instagram, that are built on the top of that Django framework. So in this way, we have finished the chapter number 10, that we have seen that Django MVT, that is model, view, and templates. We have seen the configuration for template and views, example for views and templates and models, and we have seen that Django with Python. So that's it for today's session. We will stop here. We have finished with chapter number 10. Thank you.